Hi everyone, this is Nick, and today I'm going to show you a cool trick that you can use when you want to present a subset of your data on a slide and you want to sort of zoom in and really engage your audience and have them sort of hone in on that one particular piece. Now, actually comes from a video that I just saw from Dave Parody over at Think Outside the Slide. I'm going to put all of his links down below to his channel and to the video in the comments. I hope you go and follow his channel. It's so helpful. He has so many helpful tips and tricks for PowerPoint, data visualization, Zoom, virtual meetings, anything that you can think of, he's probably got on that channel. So definitely go and check him out. But what he used in his video that I saw yesterday was a slide transition that he was trying to use to sort of mimic a morph transition in PowerPoint. Now, we've all seen those morph transitions. They're super cool. They create really sort of cinematic effects in your slides, and it's really, really very engaging for your audience. But in this case, live charts like this on the slide, this deviation bar chart, can't have morph applied to it because live charts cannot yet at least have that morph transition attached to it. So you kind of have to do some behind the scenes workarounds and some little hacks to try and get it close. So what Dave used is he used a wipe transition, a slide transition, and then two different charts across his slides, and go check out that video. But this is how his transition looks. So what he did is he created this box. Let me go ahead and click on this slide to make sure it's activated. He wanted to show you the chart, and then he wanted to highlight the last quarter of data. This is a different chart than his, but a similar effect. He wanted to highlight that piece, and then he wanted to morph and kind of zoom in to that section of the slide with that wipe transition. And you can see now we're just focusing on the data in that last quarter. But what I thought is maybe we could use these charts, and maybe we could use the morph transition to give it a little bit more of that sort of parallax, or like that parallax effect that sort of moves it off the slide, moves the chart and some of its elements off the slide. Now, the limitation of this is you can't do it with a live chart. You have to use kind of shapes and objects to do it. So what you can do with charts, though, is you can create a chart. You can make it a live chart for as long as you need. You can cut it out, and then you can paste it back in as an image or an SVG file. So that's what I'm going to do in this technique, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so this is what I ended up doing on mine. I'm going to play it in slideshow mode. It's the same chart. I'm going to first draw my audience's attention to the last quarter of data, and now I'm going to push to the next slide, which is going to have that morph transition applied, and you can see everything sort of zooms off to the page, and it looks really, really nice. And you can kind of sort of zoom back. You can just do this all day long. Click back and forth, and you can see with the morph transition how it all goes. But you can see the month labels along the x-axis, they go off to the side. The chart goes off to the side, but the y-axis stays. And that's all done with this morph transition. So let me escape out of this slide, and I'm going to show you how I did it. So, of course, like I said again, you can't do this with a live chart. You have to paste it back in as an image file. So if you ever want that live chart to be active at some point, you're going to want to create copies of it so that you can go back to that live chart, update it, and then use this technique if you want to do that in your presentation. So I have this first slide right here with my live chart. I know it's a live chart because when I click on it, it has these little buttons over here on the side called Skittles, and that's another term that I learned yesterday in Dave's video. So again, go and watch that video. But you can filter data here. You can edit some of the chart elements and things like that from here as well. And that's a pretty good way that you can know if this is a live chart in your PowerPoint slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the transition tab here and make sure that my morph transition is applied. Now I'm going to duplicate this slide. So I'm going to push Control D to duplicate it. Now what I want to do is we're going to cut this. Chart out of the slide, right click and cut, and now inside this placeholder I'm going to go to the Home tab and then paste Special as an SVG, and it's going to go right back into that placeholder there. And now you can see when I click around, those Skittles don't pop up. It's not a live chart anymore. It's actually just an object, an SVG. But I can ungroup everything on this slide, and all I need to do in order to do that is go to Group and then Ungroup. And then it's going to give me this box. I have to click yes, and then I have to do that one more time, and now it's going to ungroup all the objects. So now you can see there's text boxes, lines, and then this chart object right here is just one big shape that you could edit or format. I'm going to do the same thing to the next slide. So we're going to go ahead and cut this, Control X to cut. Inside this placeholder, I'm going to paste Special as an SVG. Now I'm going to ungroup everything again. We're going to click ungroup again. Oops, did that work? Oh, there we go. Ungroup. All right, so everything's ungrouped. All right, so this, I know that these months I want to morph over to the side. So what I'm going to do is highlight all of them, and I'm just going to push the arrow key and drag them off to the side. You don't want to delete them, you just want to drag them off to the side. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my September month. I want to put that over here, and what I'm going to do is probably move these over. I know that I'm going to have to adjust this. I'm going to distribute these so that they're evenly distributed. And now with this, I need to actually cut this one more time and paste it back in as an image. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this, and then I'm going to paste it in as a picture. Just paste it in as a picture. It's going to be a little bit off, but I want to make sure, I'm going to nudge it back and just make sure that this is at the 0 baseline here. And it's kind of centered in the middle of the chart. That looks nice. And now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to crop this image so that only the data points from the last quarter are showing that I want to show. And then what I'm going to do once I crop that is I'm going to drag it over like this. And then position that on your slide exactly how you want it. Now I'm going to reposition my x-axis labels here. I'm going to make sure that that's nudged perfectly in the center. I'm going to go ahead and highlight them, make sure they're distributed evenly. I think that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to go back to my first slide, and now this, we have to do that same technique with this middle chart image here. We have to cut it and paste it back in as an image. So I'm going to go ahead, right click and cut, and then paste it in as a picture. We're going to go ahead and move it, nudge it just so that it's perfectly positioned. This is where the things aren't exactly quite exact, but when you're presenting this to an audience, you're going to be talking, you're going to be engaging them in different ways. There's not going to be a lot of people who are up at that screen with a ruler, you know, making sure everything is exact. So let's make sure that this works. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in slideshow mode and see if that morph transition works. Now I'm going to click to the next slide. Perfect. Now that is awesome. Doesn't that look cool? It's a super engaging effect. I'm going to escape. Now there's one more thing. We wanted to do that highlight box. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a yellow rectangle here. Oops, wrong shape. Let's make sure this is the right shape, rectangle. And we're going to move this to the back so it's behind the chart. I'm going to make it yellow, no line, 85% transparency. Looks great there. I'm going to go ahead and apply an appear animation to this. It's going to be on click. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this box. I'm going to put it onto the next slide. And I'm going to drag this so that it's over the data we want to highlight. I'm going to make sure to just delete this animation. So just click on that and delete the animation. We don't want that animation on the second slide, just on the first. So let's go back to the first slide, put it in slideshow mode. I'm going to have this chart, give you some background about the chart. I'm going to highlight the quarter that we want to show, and then I'm going to click and morph. Everything highlights and morphs perfectly into position. A pretty engaging slideshow effect when you're presenting some data that you really want to hone in on a particular subset of that data for your audience. So again, I hope that you go and subscribe to Dave's channel, Think Outside the Slide. His link is below. I hope you subscribe to my channel. Anytime I post a new tutorial, data design, PowerPoint, Excel, or Word, you'll get notified if you tap the bell next to it. I hope you all had a great time watching this video, had a great time making it. Stay warm, and I will see you next time.